All right, everybody, welcome back once again. 3 games down and at least one more to go. We'll see if Hong Kong Attitude can fire back after J-Team finding themselves up 2-1. But before we get into the pregame, I do want to take a moment to thank our lovely sponsors. They are, of course, CTBC Bank, China Airlines, Changhua Telecom, and, of course, Caliber. Now, Clement, we've seen 2 games in a row. It's a little bit rough in the draft phase there for Hong Kong Attitude, but they've elected to switch it back up and go back to red side where they found success in game 1.
Yeah, on the red side, what we have seen is that they've been able to lock down the Aphelios plus Thresh combo, which I think is probably the best champion coming in from both K and from M&M. So at least they have a steady base to play off of. I do want to see them change the draft for topside a little bit more, though. I don't see Hong Kong Attitude being able to come out ahead without some sort of an advantage in the topside skirmishes. That is where they have to stabilize their game. Bot lane, honestly, isn't that important in this meta whatsoever. So it really is about finding that lead in the topside and then snowballing that lead further for Hong Kong Attitude.
Yeah, maybe they can find the Renekton this time. It was banned red side by J-Team last time around. We were talking about how that does set up the plays with the Nidalee. Of course, Nidalee being banned away is a little bit of trouble. Maybe they just sack the early bot lane picks and go for trying to lock that down early. I think that could certainly work out well for them, but you know, if they can still get something like a Thresh for K, I would love to see it because that guy is pretty insane on hooks. With a couple exceptions, there was a flash and one that went a little wide left, but you know, I still think there's a lot of playmaking potential there if he gets his hands on it. Yeah,
for sure. I still think there's, if we're talking about Kongyu's champion pool, there are a lot of unconditional ones that I think can make a big splash. We have seen Xin Zhao just being banned in the second phase, so that could be moved earlier on for sure, and that could still be a very strong carry coming out for his side. In general, the picture is Viego, Gwen, and Xin Zhao, I think being the 3 big that are less conditional, and Diana being the one that is situational. If you get the Renekton, if you get the Lee Sin, then maybe you can swap over to that pick, but not really without support, as we saw in Game 3.
Yeah, it was a bit of a wonky one for sure, and I also think Hong Kong Attitude, they overchased a couple times. J-Team just looks so much cleaner, though, right? Like, it seemed like Game 1, it was a very different team. They got kind of put on the back foot. They themselves sort of overchased in a few situations, especially early topside, but it all flipped a little bit after that. But we are into picks and bans, and there will be that Viego ban coming out. J-Team shouldn't change up too much. Twisted Fate, that has been now kind of the given strategy in either side of the map to take away from Bivin.
Yeah, and we'll see if Hong Kong Attitude have to do something about LeBlanc here. This is, I think, a big question. There really is no answer, and if you're thinking about tempo picks here, honestly, that LeBlanc is very scary as well. I understand why they're prioritizing Lucian over banning LeBlanc, because Lucian also enables the Diana to come out from Hana, which is also very scary. But we do have the same position in draft. This time Renekton is open, so I do expect Rest to just take that away. I love this from the coaching staff from J-Team. They have identified that Renekton is just absolutely critical for Hong Kong Attitude and their success.
This is a first pick for Bivin again. I wonder if this is a bit of a crutch here. They do get the Lee Sin for Kongye, but
Well, I definitely like the left side of the trade here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much to say about this. Like, if we're looking at Rock's champion pool against something like Renekton, he doesn't really have a lot to go for. He's usually going for Tom Kent or Mundo in these spots, and I don't think either are particularly powerful against J-Team, especially when they have the upper hand in the jungle matchup. It's going to be hard to convince me that they can actually withstand the pressure going for a Tom Kent here. Tom Kent is one of those picks that can snowball really hard, but can also be anti-snowballed against pretty hard. So J-Team, they cracked this game wide open. They know the name of the game is just top lane skirmish. What bot lane is whatever, and they have the perfect draft.
And Hana's looked so good in this series so far. Like, I think give him a Xin Zhao, and that's going to be very, very terrifying. The Camille does get locked in for Rock, so you know there is pick potential here. There is some lockdown. But I don't know if it's really going to be enough. I mean, there's J-Team they just have such terrifying picks already.
This has to be some of the most insane Lee Sin play that we have ever seen to actually see Hong Kong Attitude with a win here. I don't think 1-3-1 is what Hong Kong Attitude is known for. It's not what they really know how to play. So I'm having a hard time seeing this being a win for Hong Kong Attitude. Like, even without looking at the bot side drafts, it's hard to see how they come out with a win here. And I like what J-Team are doing. They're just saying, okay, we've neutralized the entire top side. Let's just make sure that Eminem doesn't get his best champions. You can play Aphelios, but with no Thresh. Try that.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go for it this time around. So Thresh banned out. And meanwhile, HK kind of stick to their guns with the Varus and the Ashe ban. They keep opting into that one. But we've already seen Lil V just thrive on a variety of champions. They could just go Jinx Braum again. It looked great the first time around. They banned the Braum themselves, though.
Definitely could still be the case here. Now, Hong Kong Attitude has to play through early aggression in the bot side. I don't think they have a choice anymore. So I'm trying to think about something that can go aggressive. Maybe the Callista here. Like, it's going to be very awkward. Callista. Yeah, they could go Callista, but the problem is, for them, like, Callista is not a good 1-3-1 champion. So once you get into the late game, then Eminem is basically going to be watching from the sidelines. Either way, it's hard.
Yeah, as the timer ticks down, it looks like Lil V will actually grab the Aphelios himself, and we'll see what it gets paired with here. It could be something... Honestly, I feel like they could just go for the Trundle.
True. Yeah, Trundle's definitely available. Tom Kench is still there as well. There's a lot of different picks that you could go for here. Woody also plays some interesting things, like he actually has...
yeah, I was about to say, the Rel.
Yeah. The Rel is decent here. They just need... I think for this composition, you just want something that can roam and engage. Alistar is much
I like
safer.
that better. Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so the Callista is being covered at the moment, and... oh boy. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I mean, the Draven is something. I know that was like a little bit of a fast flash, but like, you want to go aggressive, you want to go all in. I mean, this is your tournament life on the line. You lose this one, and you are out of contention in the playoffs, out of contention for Worlds, and Eminem decides to play it safe and goes for the Ezreal.
You don't really expect kills to be coming out of this lane. You can't really expect on the mid-lit jungle to be advantageous. And the top lane's just going to lose out early. You know, Camille's even going for the early ignite just to stay alive in the lane. So Hong Kong Attitude have to pull out an unscientific teamfight in the early game to get themselves a path towards 1-3-1. Then they have to scale up, and then they still have to pull off flanking teamfights to win. The conditions are so ridiculously stacked. And every one of them goes against what Hong Kong Attitude has established as one of their strengths.
Yeah, I feel like J-Team have just done a great job of like reading drafts like ever since game one, and it's thrown Hong Kong Attitude like really for a loop here, and we're seeing them try different things, but they haven't worked out so far. And now it's, I think, it all comes down to this though, Clement. Whenever you're watching this Hong Kong Attitude squad, we want to see highlight plays from Kongye, and if it doesn't happen, they're probably not going to win. So, I mean, he's a good Lee Sin. Is he good enough to put the team in the backpack? And will the rest of the team be able to come with? I guess we'll find out here as J-Team on the verge of making it to the next round. 2-1 in the series, looking to close this one out. Great drafting from this squad in games 2 through 4 so far. Will they be able to close it here, or will we be getting to game 5? That's the question.
We'll find out very soon in this one. I could honestly see J-Team just snowballing this game in the early, like the first jungle rotation. Could be enough. Bivin, it's so easy to get flashes out of this Rise. It's incredibly easy. And also in the top lane as well, like Camille with Ignite, if he gets ganked early on, that's also just like a slow slide into hell. So I expect both jungles having to start bot, path towards the top lane, and Konger has to outplay Hana here. If he doesn't do so on the first jungle clear path, I think they're probably gone.
Well, a lot riding on this one. Can Hong Kong Attitude stay alive here, forcing themselves to game 5? Let's open up the map, start out by taking a look at our runes. Keystones picked up here. Too much of a surprise. And of course, that phase rush on Bivin.
Now, we do have a more late game scaling one for Lil V coming out here, not going for the Conquerors, and I think that's the correct move. It's, there's not really that much pressure from the Ezreal on the flip side, so might as well go for the tempo. And we do have some early level 1.
Eminem had some options. Yeah, the potential for that, but it's gonna just be the ward down. Eminem had some options to go all in on stuff. I know the Kalista would have been a little weird, a little awkward, but man, I love to see the crazy, just like all out, throw everything against the wall team fighting, and I think the Kalista could have facilitated that, but
yeah,
or even the Draven. I mean, you might, man, how like. It's just such a statement to like pull out a Draven in what could be the last game of life. But Eminem, they go for a safety play. I am mildly disappointed, but I guess I understand.
Kalista would have given them a win con. Right now, they don't have a win con, which I think is the problem.
That's not great. That's not a great thing to hear at 1 minute and 40 seconds into the game.
It really isn't. But we kind of knew that this was coming. That Hong Kong Attitude throughout the postseason were overly reliant on one strategy, and frankly, they've only won on one strategy, so...
They've won, to their credit, they've won a lot on that one strategy, but yeah, J-Team have really found ways to deny them. I mean, it's smart drafting, but we'll see how well it plays out here. Han on the level 2 roam. You mentioned getting the inside track on the rise being a little easier.
I do like
overly
Biven's
ambitious. He's playing
here.
safe side.
This is really good from Biven. At least he's, holding on to the left side, and he actually wasted a lot of time from the Xin Zhao. This is pretty smart on his part. Both jungles pathing top lane like we expected here. And I think the next big play here is for J-Team to go for double scuttle. Whenever there is a fight on the map, we can say as a percentage it should go in one side's favor. But whenever there is an actual mechanical execution element, somebody could find a way back into it. Ooh, Hana's under level here.
That blue. Yeah, a little bit. Kongye actually going up for an early play top side. This is interesting here. Level 3 on the Lee Sin. Should have a pretty free Sonic Wave here onto Rest as the hook shot does go in. And yeah, Rest knows he's not going to be able to do much about this. Ignite already hopped on this one, and he's going to burn Flash, follow through. That's going to be the turnaround. Teleport coming in as well. And Hana, man, they're just able to turn this around so well. Kongye trying to safeguard back, but it's followed. First blood to Mission. He's going to secure 2. Oh, and that's everything J-Team wanted.
Yeah, that's even fewer chances for Kongre to snowball this one. They had a really good path into the top side, but I have to hand it to Rest. He just played that so incredibly well. Look at this. He has full rage bar, comes in, and makes sure that Rock can't follow up on the damage. He's a step behind this entire play. Rock doesn't get a single auto attack after the hook shot. Like, Rest just kited that out beautifully to get to this point. Only the damage on Kongre really coming through, and then Mission... extra TP just comes in, and unfortunately there isn't a good spot for Rise to do the same there. You can't really blame Biven on that play, but Mission 2 kills at 3 minutes. Sword boots right out the gate. It's not looking so good.
It's it's a bit of an oof. If this was like a scrim, this is about the time when the team just like totally FFs it, but no. That can happen in playoffs, and that's a rough start for Hong Kong Attitude. I liked what they were trying up top side, but yeah, Rest has really played incredibly well. Kind of playing weak side last game around with so much dive pressure on him, and then just getting his revenge later on. Meanwhile, Kongye is back to the top. Now they're going to try to turn this one around as Hana and Rest are finding themselves a numbers deficit, but they are already getting out of there. Hookshot going to follow through. They do get the root down. Looking for Rest on the damage. He's still walking away. Finally, they'll finish him, and into the backline they go for 2. And that's going to be Biven equalizing on the kills. Nicely done by Hong Kong Attitude.
Oh, very unfortunate miscalculation coming out for Hana. He could have just went out of there scot-free, but he decided to try and save his top laner, and they both go down in the process here. If you look at this play, it's a little bit over Chase, honestly. They didn't expect Kongre to still be here on the top side. They thought that he would be trying to farm out the bottom camps, but Hana's just going straight in again. And unfortunately for them, they run into Kongre, and the block in terms of the damage calculation was pretty off by Hana. They both end up going down. And this will save the mid lane for Biven. This means that he can at least wave clear. He's not going to die that easily to Mission from this point, getting the extra levels. Getting the extra movement speed, boots here as well. Should stop the snowball for now.
There we go. We'll be able to huck out a couple of overloads there. And yeah, really nicely done. Woody actually going in to get the knockup. But that time, Kongye is able to get out safely. Scuttle control still going to be firmly secured by J-Team. But that's one way to stop the mid lane snowball. They get 2 kills. Okay, I get 2 kills. We're good. Everything resets.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's exactly equal. I would still favor the LeBlanc position in this point, but it's something. It's something. It's definitely a small
Yeah,
comeback.
look, it's honestly, it's better than Bivens looked most early games, so I think that's definitely a start.
True.
And we'll see if he's able to take this rise. You know, he's been denied so much on his favorite picks that he's kind of gone under the sort of tertiary. We'll see if it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, both junglers actually going to meet in the bottom lane once again. Zenith Blade does land onto Woody, very tanky. And Kongya gets knocked into the team. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad can't really do anything about it as they were zoned away. So, yeah, Woody with the headbutt sets up his team for another kill.
Yeah, he walks straight through Vision. Great shadowing coming in here by Hana. You know, he didn't expect Kongya on the first play, but he definitely expected him here. I just want to mention the reason Kongya is playing this one so aggressively is just because none of his lanes are naturally guaranteed to come out ahead. So he has to do this to actually get him into a 1-3-1 split pushing phase. And, you know, that just means taking a lot of risks. And I love what Hana is doing right here. This is such a great level up from Hana. Willing to wait for the play to develop. He doesn't show himself early, waits for the counter gank, makes sure that Kongya is fully committed without flash, just goes in for the kill. And this is just you know, shutting the door on Hong Kong Attitude, making sure that they don't have a chance to actually snowball out of control here. That first Infernal Drake at 7 minutes, pretty early on as well.
Yeah, nicely done. All a result of the well-timed play down bottom side. Meanwhile, K on a roam trying to help out, but he does get spotted. As you see, Woody already up there too, pops the Scryer's Plume. Now Rest could be the target du jour. Once again, he's able to slice and dice to safety, and Bivin comes in. After all, they are going to turn it on, and the root is huge. That is going to be the Camille ultimate. And everybody just kind of freeze framed for a second, but it ended up working out. Now Woody's going to be isolated here on this dive part 2. Gets a 2-man knockup and the headbutt, but he's still going to be going down. Bivin, though, taking too many tower shots.
That was...
what just happened?
That was simultaneously the best play and the worst play that I've ever seen. It's amazing. Like, what?
Okay, let's do this again, because my head hurts right now.
Yeah, he actually baited Woody and Rest to go back. Like, this was a very successful bait. And then for some reason he takes the tower instead of K and died. So...
Okay, yeah.
That's
starts,
actually a massive
tanking.
shutdown.
He's actually, yeah, he's just standing on it. He goes back in for an extra...
You
He could have walked away from that! Divin, what are you doing, bro?
Divin is amazing. I don't know what to say, but that was... a gold transfer
This is a man with no sense of self-preservation.
Yeah, that was interesting, to say the very least. But it actually does make sure Hong Kong Attitude now have a chance to win the game.
I mean, they have a possibility. Oh my goodness, Hana has deleted Bivin very quickly, and yeah, okay. They do have a chance, you were saying, Clement.
I don't think they can stay for this Herald anymore. It's 4v4 at this point, and you do have Renekton with right of way. J-Team also taking down the bot lane tower, so with Bivin going down, that's a huge loss for Hong Kong Attitude. 1 kill, 1 turret for free.
Yeah, Dragon, Infernal already in the pocket. 9 minutes. It is a almost 3,000 gold lead. That's pretty huge. Let's take a look at the play that developed where Bivin actually gets taken down. He just gets double chased. There's really nothing he can do here.
Yeah, I don't think he should be that far up. He's trying to front for the team to take Herald, but he dies a little bit too quickly. You know, it was the darkest of days, and it was the brightest of days as well, so...
Well, and Mission. Well, that's a lot of damage on Eminem. Yeah, J-Team in the driver's seat for sure, but they have shown that there are mistakes to take advantage of. And fortunately, Hong Kong Attitude got to stop themselves from making their own mistakes. Hana doing Herald on Vision, but there's just too much control in this river. You can see both Woody and Mission kind of guarding the entrances, and this should be the Herald take without any contest.
Yeah, exactly. We do have Bivin just showing himself on the bottom wave as well, so they are trying to hard farm him up. I do wonder if Bivin is the one you want to be giving most of this gold to. I think ideally it should be going over to Rock, but you know, they don't really have that opportunity this time around, and it is a 3v1 collapse with no one on the map to help. Good luck, Rock.
4v1. He's going to try to walk, but yeah, hook shot interrupted, nowhere to go. Lil V's even getting the kill for it, so that should be the tower traded, and with the Rift Herald popped, well, just the tower taken. I don't even know if Hong Kong Attitude have enough to answer.
Ryze is a very slow tower taker. The funny thing about Rise is because he scales with mana and not really with AP, he doesn't really have any benefits when going up against towers. Like, if you're a mage hitting a tower, your AP actually helps you, but not Rise, because you got mana charge.
Man, J-Team are they're rolling forward here. 11 minutes, this is a huge lead. They're going to get 2 towers. The TP on the backside, though. Will they be able to get away? Oh, they stayed long. They might pay for it as the Solar Flare does manage to land onto Hana, but they turn immediately once again onto Eminem. And is able to kite away, trying to get out of this one as Bivin comes in around the side. They have the damage. Hextech ultimatum, and Rock is able to get 1. Kongye gets the 2nd. Chase down now as Kongye does move away just in time for the chains. Woody dodges out from the Sonic Wave, and now this is a very slow chase. Hookshot coming through. They turn onto Woody, and I think Mission will be getting away, and Rock gets 2, but they pay dearly in towers for it.
Beautiful play for the 3-man. I think J-Team went a little bit too aggressive there because they didn't have any backup from the side lanes here. If you want to make this play, you actually have to make sure there's pressure from the other side lanes. They just completely tunnel vision on the second tower and pay for those 3 kills. I think critically here is to make sure where the kills actually go to. The thing that I want to watch is if Camille gets fed enough to actually out-split push the Renekton, it could change the entire landscape and allow the 1-3-1 to start to be played. So after we get out of the replays, like, this is just a pretty simple chase down, to be honest. But we'll see after the replays who actually got all of that gold, and will it change? Oh, it is Rock. That's probably the worst member you want the gold to go to. Oh, 7 takedowns already. Okay, I think Hong Kong Attitude.
I mean, Rock is online. That's the game plan, it seems, for Hong Kong Attitude. J-Team do still play for the Drake. They secure up a Cloud, and that means we will have a Mountain Rift after the fact. And well, we'll see how this one's going to play out. You know, Hong Kong Attitude are going to be holding on, and they have the ability to contest on side lanes now.
Yeah, I think J-Team are actually taking their foot off the pedal just a little bit early right here. They are leaving a lot of exposed side lanes to go for full-on trades, and if you're the losing team and you're playing 1-3-1, going for tower trades is actually completely fine. Like, stylistically, the tempo team actually wants to keep the entire map much more compartmentalized, or at least going for just purely net tower trades, net positive tower trades, rather than just full-on trading. Full-on trading opens the map up, and what open maps mean is that you actually have a lot of time to just farm up. There's no Baron pressure for quite a while here. And Hong Kong Attitude, if I'm Hong Kong Attitude and I'm Chowie, I'm actually pretty happy with the way things are going right now.
Yeah, Eminem might be able to secure a last-second tower play. Mission chases him off. Oh, there we go. He got it. Giving Eminem a little bit of extra gold. But yeah, you can't full trade here. That was an inner completely traded for just the remaining plates. And, well, Hong Kong Attitude, yeah, they are holding on. It's a pretty big gold deficit, but, you know, they have a way back into this game if they can. Mythic items starting to be completed as well. You know, after that play up topside, Rock was able to find Sunderer, so he's going to be in this one on the side lanes.
Yeah, and it really comes down to Drake steals at this point. Hong Kong Attitude, I feel like this gold deficit, it's pretty big for 14 minutes into the game, but if you consider the fact that the map is really open and it's easy for them to farm up, it's not all that bad, honestly. Ideally, J-Team actually don't even want the towers to be traded like this. They would much rather have the J-Teams, the towers up and for dives to be easy. So, like, at this point, I feel like Hong Kong Attitude, if they just don't die too much, they can patch up the 30 CS deficit on Rock. They actually should be okay, and if they get 1 Drake steal, there's still hope.
We'll be seeing it already from Kongye. Game number 1 in Italy certainly worked out well in terms of taking away objectives, and let's see if they can do it. Hana, meanwhile, going to be sniffing into this jungle, taking away the red buff. They've left Mission on the side lane, and, you know, he's definitely somebody that, if you're Hong Kong Attitude, you can't really forget about. Still pretty terrifying here, but HKA just kind of slow rolling, trying to push down on sides. Rest even hitting the BM, but Kongye is here. Could be the makings of a dive as K comes in.
Look at this overloaded map situation. J-Team have nothing to fight for anymore on the top side, while bottom lane, Rest is just a sitting duck.
Yeah, absolutely. Nowhere to go. Gonna get himself in stasis for just a couple of seconds. Actually flashes out of that one, but they still find the follow-through stun. And, yeah, I don't think Rest was expecting that many people to be on him.
Yeah, but he does play that extremely well with the flash to clear the entire minion wave. So that does give enough of a tempo lead where J-Team are still going to be able to snowball a tower versus a kill. So I think in the end, because of how well Rest managed to play that, it does still work out in favor of J-Team.
Right. Like, Hong Kong Attitude still have not been able to find a single tower. They get very close up top. They're getting a little closer on the bottom. But meanwhile, J-Team are working on inners.
For sure. And at least with the mid lane tower up, this should mean that, Hong Kong Attitude are going to find it very difficult to hang on to this Drake pit at this point. Once again, I'm looking at flanking wards. I'm looking at places where Kongya can potentially sneak in. We are going to get the Drake relatively soon, 1 minute down. And it looks like the play for JT might even to force a top lane Baron bait here. I don't think this should be successful because the JT don't actually have that much damage right now.
No, yeah, like, this is a little bit of a wonky situation. Mission jumps in, and, that's kind of the end of it. Oh, maybe not, as Rock does turn around into the Hextech Ultimatum, and he just nopes his way out of there immediately as the ultimate's burned.
Yeah, that was interesting in terms of the positioning. A very easy just play from Woody to kind of make right there.
This is a little bit of a strange set of moves by Hong Kong Attitude. They're showing so much force here in the mid lane, but, like, they don't want the fighter, do they? Maybe this time it's going to be the catch onto Bivin and follow through. He does have a little bit of health left, but no! Hana's going to be able to take him out. Meanwhile, the rest of the map is just collapsing here as Hong Kong Attitude just don't really have enough damage to do anything. Bivin and Kay going to fall relatively quick.
I honestly don't know what Hong Kong Attitude are trying to pine for here. Like, if I'm Hong Kong Attitude, the best scenario for me is, JT, you guys take Herald? Fine. I'm actually just going to take the Drake and make sure that that timer is pushed back 5 minutes. So, the entire positioning for me was a little bit odd, and Hong Kong Attitude just end up giving over free kills and objectives. Like, they get nothing for this whole chain sequence.
Yeah, that was just bizarre, in all honesty. So, Hong Kong Attitude, they lose out on Herald, they're going to lose out on Dragon as well. Game keeps on rolling, and, the gold lead is big. Let's take a look at this again, because it's such a head-scratcher. Like, what are they looking for here?
I honestly don't know. I can't tell you. I feel like that maybe they were trying to get in position for the Herald, and they just got caught out. Maybe they were thinking that, okay, J-Team is for sure just going to go for the Drake stack. But their positioning obviously indicated otherwise. Like, Kay was coming from the top side for a pick. Now they're going for more risky plays. Let's see if this one works out.
Kongye looking at Hana as Bivin is here as well. Rock looking to collapse on. Meanwhile, there's a little bit of a second fight happening as Kay tries to tank up a lot of damage, but they just don't have enough to finish the job. Mission's going to stack another one here, and now things are just starting to fall apart. Lil V takes down Bivin. Mission on the chase onto Rock. Kongye probably gets away from this one, but there's not much else going on. Hong Kong Attitude, they force over and over, but they need to pump the brakes.
Yeah, like, getting trades is actually okay if you're in Hong Kong Attitude's part. Like, we've said this multiple times. The map is open. You can farm. It's okay to just sit back and farm. Like, you can freeze.
But this is a different kind of trade offer.
Yeah.
This is trade offer. You get free kills. We get nothing. That's not a great play. Let's take a look at it again.
So the key thing here is that there actually is no vision advantage. J-Team are able to respond with their TPs. Bivin even comes in fairly late into the play as well, and his landing spot ain't all that good. They don't find the chase down onto Hana. Woody is able to get in front of him. They lose K on the back coming out of the base, and it's just a very easy chase down from this point onwards, and nothing for Hong Kong Attitude to get here. And I just feel like they were playing in desperation mode when they were not familiar with how 1-3-1 works. If you're playing 1-3-1, you should be willing to drag it out. You should be willing to go for objective trades, but they're playing full Desperado, and that's not the play.
Honestly, I think they're playing full Despacito at this point, Clement.
That's the
is
song,
a little
sorry.
Sad. Yeah, I hate to see it because, like, I love what Hong Kong Attitude can do when they're able to really, like, fire on all cylinders and play through, like, Kongye flashy kills. He's been able to find some executions. They've comboed up with Rockwell. They set him up for success, but then, they just do these questionable things and they don't trade effectively. Rift Herald gonna get popped in the middle of the jungle, and, Hong Kong Attitude still don't have any towers. This is gonna be a 6th for J-Team.
Yeah, this could almost be a perfect game in terms of just objectives at this point. Nothing to really do here for Hong Kong Attitude at all. Next Drake is coming up very soon, and at this point the map is like too open. Like there's a good amount of openness if you're trading towers back and forth, but they didn't get the trades down. Now they're pining again for aggressive play.
Yeah, Hana does step a little too far forward here, but this is the problem. There's just not enough damage, and Kay's going to go down. Whoa, that was an absolutely massive Aphelios ultimate as Lil V is able to snipe down Eminem. It's just 2 quick kills, and Hong Kong Attitude playing like the gold is even, but no, they have a 7,500 deficit.
Yeah, I feel like there was just so much Baron pressure that Hong Kong Attitude felt like they needed to go for these plays. But honestly, they needed to wait for someone to show on side lanes. They needed to wait for a much bigger over-aggression coming in from Hana. Hana still had Flash and Crescent Guard. Like, there's no way you're going to burst that guy down. And he also has Borging to boot. So, very opportunistic play. This is where Corner can make a difference, though. Lee Sin Insect Steals. We have seen this before.
Oh, they've actually gone ahead and found Mission here, but the kick is going to be enough for the execution. No! The team collapses around like a phalanx, and they are able to take down Hongye, and now the Baron is a lot easier, although Hong Kong Attitude do have members revived. They could chase them off of this.
Yeah, like, Eminem has to have the biggest team fight of his entire career to keep them in the chasing for worlds here. Here we go.
Player finding one that's already going to be burned. They're just going to try to shred them down here as Case a little farther forward. And Hana, he is not down just yet. Oh my goodness, he stays up the entire time. The double kill comes through for Lil V, chasing down for 3. And just like that, it's only Bivin to try and stop this. He steps forward, gets baited into 2 members of J-Team, forced to flash away. Baron still aggroed. Rest just throws on the Dominus, steps in once again. He cannot leave well enough alone. And J-Team, I mean, they pay the iron price for it, but they grab the Baron at 22.5 minutes.
Yeah, Hong Kong Attitude just not able to find any of the picks there. Again, this is a collapse very similar to the style, I believe, of Game 3, where there was just this, like, 2 minutes and the entire map just snowballed in the way of J-Team, and it really didn't have to be this way. Honestly, J-Team were done with the towers. We're going to watch this fight again. The critical thing is that you only have Camille as a melee carry that can get past the Crescent Guard and actually snipe off Hana, but a great body block from Woody actually steps in and makes sure that Camille doesn't land on the jungler, so they are able to secure the Baron afterwards, clean up the kills. Now they're going to go for the Mountain Soul. And look at how far HKA are away from this. Arcane Barrage is also on cooldown, so no interruption.
Yeah, it's J-Team's just getting everything. They get the Mountain Soul, they have the Baron buff, they have a massive gold lead at this point, and they are well on their way to moving on to the next round of playoffs. Hong Kong Attitude just did not find an answer this series when their big picks were banned away, and if it sounds like I'm writing the eulogy, it's because I absolutely am. This one looks absolutely over.
It really all started just from the drafting phase. We were looking at this draft and going, okay, Bivin first pick, you're trying to play 1-3-1 as Hong Kong Attitude, red side with no counter picks. Maybe Corey can make it work?
He tried. He really did, but nothing doing. Unfortunately, the rest of the team wasn't quite able to react in time. Mission's even going to come in here now. Rock forced away, and yeah, I mean, it's like J-Team, they're trying to beat their record for the series. It was about 26 last time, but at 24 now, looking to try and complete the speed run.
Great stuff from J-Team coming into this one. Bivin's still there. Moonlight Vigil misses, so we could be in for an even fight.
But Rock is going to be caught on the opposite side. It's just point and click at this point. Woody goes in, follow through. Lil V is absolutely godlike, and chase back to Fountain. Nothing you can do. He says, hey, Eminem, this is how you play Aphelios. And this is going to be it. With no answer, Kongye, Eminem, they're just trying for it here. But there is no hope. There is no chance. And with the Nexus open, they can just pad a couple more kills. And in style, J-Team will be moving on to the next round of playoffs with a 3-1 victory on the series.
Eminem might still be able to get a kill, but it doesn't matter in the end here. J-Team, congratulations to them, are going to move on 3-1 here in dominating fashion. You know, I was kind of critical of their Game 1 draft. I felt like their Game 1 draft was oddly just getting over everything Hong Kong Attitude was good at. But later on, they really rectified all of their mistakes. And when we got to Game 4, the draft was massively in favor of J-Team. You look down the entire side of Hong Kong Attitude, they didn't have a single lane that was supposed to win out. Even their jungler was behind. And that's just the cardinal sin of drafting. You cannot draft an entire map that is behind. It forces you to overreach and go for very aggressive plays, which we saw early on in the 2v2. And that just snowballed the game way out of reach for Hong Kong Attitude. They had some glimmers of hope going back into it, but then they force themselves way too over aggressive, which just goes to show you that this is not a comp that they usually go for at all.
Yeah, it does seem like J-Team kind of cracked the code by just taking Hong Kong Attitude out of their comfort zone. They didn't have anything else. They try a couple of these different strategies. It just does not work. They draft themselves into corners, and 3 games in a row. There's a lot of questions. I think Hong Kong Attitude, going into next season, we'll be looking at just finding a little more variety, perhaps, because it is very easy to shut them down in the draft. J-Team proved it this time around. I really thought this one could go the distance after game number 1. Hong Kong Attitude looked fantastic when they were given the tools to succeed, but unfortunately, J-Team just found the keys to the kingdom. So, kudos to them. I think there were a lot of step-up individual performances this series. I really like what Hana was able to do. I think Lil V, after game 1, Lil V looked so much better, so much more comfortable, and his team protected him well. And also Rest, playing just kind of weak side against dive after dive, especially on that Gwen. He honestly kind of made it look a little easy. He's like, I'm going to buy so much time. That time in this game with the Renekton, he's able to actually stop the tower push. I mean, I don't think Hong Kong Attitude got a single tower.
I don't think so either.
He was holding.
Yeah, everything on the map was just J-Team the entire way. So we'll take another look at it.
There's your big gold step.
0 towers, 0 drakes, 0 elders, and 0 barons.
Yeah.
Kind of a whimper to the finish of Hong Kong Attitude season. Of course, this just means that their season is finished. There is no regional qualifier to look forward to. This is what they have settled on for the end of the split. Very unfortunate. I felt like Hong Kong Attitude, they got their act together too late. A lot of it was due to just testing out rosters, finding who's going to fit in. But after they settled, they didn't have enough time to actually expand and bring out more strategies. They were very dead set on red side, early tempo into late game carry from jungler. That was their one-track mind, and systematically it was being just dismantled by J-Team. They understood that, hey, bot lane doesn't matter in this meta. We're going to pick the strongest top lane combination we can possibly get, and that's just going to shut you down completely. They even get the MVP on bot lane. J-Team 10-1-3 on Lil V here. Is showing why Aphelios is still the champ to beat coming in from 80 carries.
Yeah, Lil V has just had a great series. I mean, I really liked him on the Jinx, but he certainly showed up on the Aphelios as well. Not that he was ever under a whole lot of threat. I mean, J-Team controlled this matchup from start to finish and really turned this one in their favor after that game 1. And you're right. They found that formula. They kind of made it look easy at the end. And I think they, of course, will be moving on to face the winner of tomorrow's matchup. I think that one is certainly going to be up for grabs a little bit. But for J-Team, they can be pretty happy considering the start to their playoffs was a little bit rocky. Now things are starting to move forward. But we are going to have an interview right after this short break, so stick around.